welcome back to a new video. Today, we will be talking about a topic I've been meaning to talk about for a while. The different eras of Power Rangers. Woo! Bet you thought we were going somewhere else. Somewhere dark and scary. Anyway, we're going to be talking about different eras of Power Rangers because I realized some people just don't know what the eras are, and I wanted to explore them for you guys. So, you're welcome. But anyway, let's get on into it. Different eras of Power Rangers can be broken down very easily because most of them are just by the franchises or companies that own them. Not franchises. Franchises are stuff like Power Rangers. But anyway, so the first era is the Zordon era. This is the only era not named after the owner of the franchise. The reason this one is so special as well because the all 5, 6 seasons technically all connect into one big concurrent storyline. Like every season follows another except Mighty Morphin. Mighty Morphin never had any or season 1 never had any big storyline plots. So except that one. But anyway, though some have also counted Lost Galaxy because it has some connections to In Space, but it's still its own storyline. In Space was a continuation of Turbo, but Lost Galaxy is its own thing, just with little hidden details, or not really hidden details, but details from Power Rangers in Space in order to keep audiences there. Also, a funny thing, almost every time an era has ended, they thought it would be the end of Power Rangers. I think almost all of them except one. So, it is named after but gosh, okay, I got to use my words. It is named after, Zordon, the mentor of the Power Rangers, since he's basically the main character of the era. He's in every season. Sorry about that. It's my phone, stupid buzz. And it ends with spoiler warning ahead. So skip a couple, do just a little fast forward thing in 3, 2, 1. Zordon's death. Yep, ends in Zordon's death. Don't talk about that too much. The next era is the Saban era, or some have called it the post-Zordon era. This is the first era to have a new set of Rangers and a new set, a new city in every single season. The only, Lost Galaxy, first episode took place mainly the first couple scenes took place in Angel Grove. But besides that, we never really see Angel Grove in that series. During the Zordon era, it would be almost the same set of teams, except they would gain new powers. And sometimes there would be a new Ranger, whether that be at the beginning or the middle of the season. There would always be a new Ranger. But in every other era, the Rangers would have new characters every season. They also have the first crossover episodes, technically. Now, the only other time we did have a crossover was the Zeo and Alien Ranger crossover. But we got one of those. And that, in my opinion, was a mini crossover. Because most of it didn't have the Alien Rangers. Most of it just had the main Zeo Rangers. So, I count it as a mini crossover. So, but anyway, the crossovers include To the 10th Power, which we talked about in the last video, Shirkina's Revenge, Time for Lightspeed, and Reinforcements from the Future. All these episodes would see previous seasons' Rangers return to help the new Rangers with a returning threat, though sometimes it would just be a normal threat. I do think all of these occurrences, though, it was a returning threat. This era also had the first ever anniversary, the 10th anniversary special, because Turbo didn't actually have an anniversary thing. So it was in the series Wild Force, Forever Red, where it saw all the previous Red Rangers teaming up to fight the leftover forces of the Machine Empire. This era started with Lost Galaxy, though some people say it started with Lightspeed Rescue because, well, the thing I said earlier about how some people think Lost Galaxy ended Zordon era. But no matter what, it ended with Wild Force. The weird thing about Wild Force is that Disney bought it halfway through. So they accidentally bought it. They bought I think they bought the toy brand or something connected to Power Rangers. So they bought Power Rangers, and that's why the final Wild Force episode is titled "The End of Power Rangers." Like I said, most of the time they thought it was the end of Power Rangers, like Wild Force. They also thought it was the end of Power Rangers and in space. So yeah. So then after I told you that, the series was bought by Disney. So accidentally. So the Disney era began. This era, in my opinion, is the second best era below the Zordon era. This era, though, has been criticized in bad quality. But in my opinion, it's pretty good, not gonna lie. I always told people I don't like the Disney era, but the more I thought about it, it's only 3 seasons I don't like. And one of them is just a solid C tier. So, I don't know. This is kind of yeah. So, this era, also brings the return of the great Tommy Oliver in Power Rangers Dino Thunder. He is the Black Dino Thunder Ranger, R.I.P. This era began with Power Rangers Ninja Storm and also ended with Power Rangers RPM, which I'm actually watching right now. So that's cool. It's a really good season. You should go check it out. So this era had technically two crossovers because one's just a continuation. The Thunderstorm crossover, which crossed over Dino Thunder and Ninja Storm. The next one is History, which crosses over the main 3 Dino Thunder Rangers. We never see the other 2. And then it's continued in Wormhole. That's what I meant by kind of 3. This is the last crossover of the Disney era, unless you were to count Once a Ranger, which I'll get into later. But there are small references put in different episodes, like Mystic Force. In the episode Ranger Down, it featured Piggy, a recurring character from SPD. In Operation Overdrive, in the At All Cost episode, Fireheart is name dropped. A dragon from Mystic Force. They got a scale from him. Harford bought it from Toby. He's not named, but he's just implied to. It's implied to be Toby. Another recurring character from Mystic Force. Operation Overdrive also had the 15th anniversary titled Once a Ranger, which had Adam, Tori, Kira, Bridge, and Xander return and help the Overdrive Rangers after they lost their powers. Now I know what you're thinking. A, how does Adam have his powers? Quick answer, Sentinel Knight brought them back. And then how is Bridge there? SPD takes place in the future. Yeah, they don't really explain it. So yeah. Anyway, the next season is Jungle Fear, which doesn't really have a reference. I looked through all the episodes. Doesn't really have a reference. It just features stock footage of Root Core from Mystic Force, which has the stock footage of Nexus. Doesn't really have any references to Operation Overdrive. I don't think so. I couldn't find any, at least. And the final season is RPM, which I know the reference because I watched it in a video. Or I saw it while I was watching it, which is, there's the jungle, in a flashback from Ranger Green, the episode, there's a Jungle Karma pizza restaurant, which is the main place that takes place in Jungle Fury. And then the next era is the Neo Saban era. This era is named since Saban brought back Disney. And this era has little to no references Though it does have the 2 seasons Super Mega Force and Mega Force, which serves as a reference-filled seasons because it's the 20th anniversary seasons. Like, Mega Force was the actual 20th anniversary, and Super Mega Force, they celebrated 20th anniversary because Gokaiger was delayed to the next year, and they decided to, and that's, Gokaiger was the 35th anniversary, so they decided for the 20th anniversary they'd pull that, but it ended up being the 21st. Anyway, the Super Mega Force featured the reappearance of Jaden, the Red Samurai Ranger, Casey, the Red Jungle Fever Ranger, and at the end it features returning Rangers Tommy from Mighty Morphin, TJ and Cassie from In Space, wearing their In Space suits, Leo, Damien, and Carone from Lost Galaxy, Carter and Dana from Lightspeed Rescue, Wes from Time Force, Mike and Emily from Samurai, and Robo Knight, who had, I think, died at that point, but we don't talk about that. This era also has the running gag of having 2 seasons, with the second season adding a super in the name. Mega Force, Super Mega Force, Samurai, Super Samurai, Dino Charge, Dino Supercharge, Ninja Steel, Super Ninja Steel, yeah, like that. So the reason that this actually happened was because Nickelodeon, the network showing like the live episodes, like they would air on there, made a rule where each season had to be 22 episodes long, no less, no more. With 2 of the episodes being recap episodes, which are holiday episodes. I actually covered most of them. So after the whole 22 episode thing, so Vaughn decided to make 2 seasons of each series. But that also meant that they would no longer be equivalent. Like they had been for 17-ish years. They had been so Mighty Morphin aired when Zoo Ranger, the Super Sentai equivalent, ended. But after Nickelodeon's rule, they couldn't do that anymore. So the way they tried to catch up was they tried to adapt 2 seasons into 2 they had Mega Force, which is Go Sager, Super Mega Force, which is Go Kaicher. They never did that again. Long story short, they didn't. So this era also has the first time that they decided to skip a Sentai season, that being Go Busters, in favor of Kyuryuger, I think is how you say it. This era is probably also the most hated era for having bad writing, horrible actors. Well, not horrible. It's mainly because of the writing. No, let me change that. Not horrible actors. They're the directors and script writers were horrible. Anyway, this era started with Samurai and ended with Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel. See? Though technically they did work on Power Rangers Beast Morphers a little bit. But anyway, on to the next era. This season is also part of the next era, Power Rangers Beast Morphers, the Hasbro era, the latest era. This era gives Go Busters a redemption shot and is made into Power Rangers Beast Morphers, like I talked about earlier. It also serves as a spoiler warning, 3, 2, 1 sequel to Power Rangers RPM, in which the main villain, Vengex, from that season reappears as Evox. Spoiler over. This is also the first series to have a second season without the word super in it since Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2. Anyway, the next season would be Power Rangers Dino Fury, which technically had a 3rd season, but it's named Cosmic Fury. And Cosmic Fury is special because it's the first one to have fully original Rangers. The Q-Ranger Rangers were not adapted at all, unless you count a couple appearances of them because they didn't notice. The only part of Q Ranger that was adapted is the Zord footage, and that's the latest season to air. And like I said earlier, they thought it was gonna end. The Neo Saban era is the only one where they didn't think it was gonna end. When they ended the era. So that's what I meant by almost all of them. So yeah, Cosmic Fury, we're pretty sure is the last one in that mainstream universe. Everything from Mighty Morphin to Cosmic Fury, all of that, except 2 seasons, RPM, and what's the other one? Dino Charge. Except those 2. All other ones have been in the same universe. So, that is done. There's no more of that universe, I think. I don't know for sure. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so I know you guys like these kind of videos. But anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Bye!